What's up, everybody? My name is Jonathan Hopper, and I'm going to be your Biology 1 professor this semester. So it's obviously a little bit of a different situation than I would like. I would love for us to be meeting face-to-face, but unfortunately that is just not the case. So what I'm going to do now is I want to run you through your syllabus. Let's talk about how everything's going to sort of fit together in terms of the syllabus and how the class is going to be managed, generally speaking, sort of what I expect of you, and see if I can answer some of the questions that you probably have. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, this is me in my office here at work. I hope the audio quality is decent. I know it's way too dark in here really to be shooting video, but I don't have a whole lot of alternatives. So my first comment to you is this. Here is Canvas. This is obviously my instructor Canvas, so it's going to be a little bit different from yours, but that's all right. The trick is that yours looks similar, and down here I have your class. So I'm going to click on your class in Canvas, and you should see a page that looks at least something like this. Now on this page, there's a little tab over here, all right there, that says Official Syllabus, and I'm going to click on that Official Syllabus tab. And that brings us up to a page that looks something like this, okay? And on this, I'm going to hit Start My Session right there, and it brings up what is, in theory, the official syllabus for all of Biology 1. Team, this is a different situation, okay? We have never had big official syllabi for whole classes before. This is a whole new thing. I did not build this syllabus. I got to go through and edit little bitty, tiny drops of it. But by and large, this was done by other folks. And as such, it's probably worth our time to go through and talk about it and sort of hit the high points and make sure that you know what you need and what you don't. All right, so let's do that now. All right. So, on our official syllabus, let's see, we've got a description. It sort of outlines what the class is going to be like in theory. Talks about labs. Meeting times are all online, as you would assume. Down here we got materials. Now, in the realm of materials, you have to have this lab manual. All right, the lab manual is absolutely paramount. There will be no passing this class without the lab manual. And this you have to get from Shelton's bookstores. You got to contact those guys. Hang on, we appear to be having problems. Got to contact those guys and go and pick up the lab manual. They may ship it, I'm not sure, but you got to have the manual all the same. Now, the actual text for the class is Campbell Biology in Focus. You can buy this thing as just a standalone text from the bookstore, I think, just a book itself. Or alternatively, I believe, and I've got to set this up so this isn't going to be true for the first few days, but I believe you can go to our Canvas page here, and you can go down to My Lab and Mastering, as you can see here, right? And you should be able to go through this. And again, I have to set this up. It's not built yet. You'll be able to go through this and buy an e-text of the of the lecture text itself. So you can buy an e-text of this, and it'll come with like all sorts of online materials. I think we've never used this one before, but normally they come with all sorts of other like online learning materials and study guides for chapters and just a lot of neat stuff. So here's my comment. You must have the lab manual, period, the end. The lab manual is something you have to have. The book for the class is very important. If we were not doing this online, if we were meeting in person, man, I'm here to tell you, I probably wouldn't necessarily require the textbook because I could just get enough to you face-to-face, and I could tell if you were learning face-to-face and help you get where you need to be. But without us being face-to-face, having the book, the actual lecture textbook itself, this fellow here, this Campbell Biology in Focus, having that, or even the e-text, I should say, boy, let me tell you, that's going to be important for you. You're gonna need it. Okay, you just are gonna need it. So my advice would be, give me a little time. Probably by the end of the week, I'll be able to go through and build up this this My Lab and Mastering link here, and that should take you to their webpage, where I think they'll give you like a 2-week trial to see if you like it, you know. And then you can choose to buy it from them at a significant discount, or you can buy it from the bookstore here on campus. Totally up to you. Okay, if you've already bought it, then that's great. Yeah, it's very handy. And we'll talk more about why I think the book is important here in just a little bit. Let's get back to syllabus. All right, here is my contact information right here. So my name is indeed Jonathan Hopper. This is my email address, and that's the best way to probably get in touch with me. Another really good way to get in touch with me, which is what most students do, is they come into Canvas here, all right, into our Canvas page. Again, looks something like this, and they will inbox me. There's an inboxing here where you can directly message folks. Messaging through Canvas is totally fine as well. That's an acceptable way of doing business. Okay. Outcomes, I invite you to give this a read. Institutional policies, there is tutoring available if you want it, so feel free. It tells you who to contact here in order to get that. We're obviously doing remote instruction. We're not even around each other for this to happen. Academic misconduct. All right. All of your exams in this semester, they are going to be done through a secondary program called HonorLock, and HonorLock tells me if you're cheating or not. Okay? It's not complicated. It is not complicated. I was marginally lenient. Last semester we had just we've all been dealing with a lot. I will not be lenient this semester. Okay? So if I think I hear somebody whispering to you and you're whispering back trying to figure out what the heck an answer to a question is and they're off screen, let me tell you, I'm just going to drop a 0 in your test score. If I see you working on the screen, just doing your thing, and then you look down, you do this, and you look back up, keep working, then you keep on doing this, it's obvious to me that you're up to something. You probably have a phone in your lap. You understand what I'm saying here, folks? It's very simple. I'm going to have you recorded on video for every single test. So don't try to get away with anything. It's going to be a mistake. I feel like now is as good a time as any to talk a little bit about HonorLock. For you to take any test in my class, you have to have a computer that has Google Chrome, and that computer has to have an enabled webcam. So webcam and Google Chrome. So you have weeks and weeks to, if you don't have one already, find a friend that'll let you come in 5 times in a semester, okay, till December, 5 times till December, and take a test using a computer that has Google Chrome and a webcam. Okay, any decent laptop will be able to knock this right out for you. Okay, so find a friend or have one yourself that will allow you to have Google Chrome running and a webcam, because you're not going to be able to access my exams if you don't have those capacities. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a practice quiz pretty soon that will require HonorLock, and it'll just make sure that your system is functioning the way it's supposed to function. So you'll be seeing that pretty soon. All right, now that's academic misconduct. Class attendance policy. Feel free to read through this, but the idea is this. My tests will be open for 2 days. I tend to open my exams like on a Friday and let it close on Saturday night, or I'll open it on a Sunday morning and I'll let it close on Monday night. The idea is that you'll have 2 days, and those 2 days will encompass a weekend. So you'll have a weekend day and a weekday to get the exams done. That is a 48-hour period. A 48-hour period. If you forget, if you neglect it, if you wait till the last minute and then something random comes up, that's more or less going to be on you, folks. All right, mostly on you. You'll have all the time in the world to get these exams done, so I suggest that you do it. And it's going to be the same story with quizzes. For quizzes, they will be open for probably 5 to 7 days. And if you can't find 10, 15 minutes in that 5 to 7 day period to do my quiz, then I don't think I should be reopening it for you. I'm going to be a little bit more of a stickler on this. It's not okay to skip these things. You have to have personal accountability and get your work done. It's not my job to babysit you, so stay on it, okay? Stay on it. All right, class attendance policy, it more or less takes care of that. Again, it's online, so, Let's see, college policies, feel free. Disabilities. All right, so if you have any ODS papers or anything from Disability Services for me, just get with me and let me know. Secondarily, drop me an email, get with me on Zoom, something along those lines. I've struggled with hardcore dyslexia my entire life. You'll see me throughout the semester putting words in weird places or swapping up sentence structure and causing all sorts of problems. It's just how I live, and I understand that. And if you have some sort of issue that hampers you in this class and I can do something to help, you can just let me know. Okay? Just let me know. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain. See, student email, we've already kind of talked about that. Quality enhancement plan, yeah. Oh, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. So this is supposed to have a calendar built into the back end of it. That calendar is gone. Fascinating. Was put in last night. Gone now. Oh well, let's just do this in another way. All right, if this is our class homepage, one of the things that you absolutely... Wait a second. There's not even grading information on this. There's no grading information. What has changed? Wow. Well, folks, last night at midnight, this was working like a charm. So apparently something has changed since then. So I'm just going to talk you through the rest of the stuff that you need to know. We're going to do it in other ways. All right, if this is our Canvas page, and you go to modules, which is there, right there, there's modules. What you will find is a page that looks something like this. And on this page, you will see that there is a calendar option. Boom. This calendar walks you through everything you need to do this semester. So in other words, the week of August 17th, which is the week we're on right now, you need to get introduced to the course and start working through the characteristics of life and the scientific method. You will finish up the scientific method beginning next week and start doing chemistry and organic molecules. Do we see how that works? So it's a calendar. Shows you when everything's going to be and what's going to be covered. I'm going to stick to this pretty much exclusively. And as I pan down here towards the bottom, you can see your first lecture exam on chapters 1 through 4 is going to be due the week of the 14th. What I will probably, that is September the 14th. What I will probably do is open that test up on Sunday morning and have it close on Monday night. So you'll have a weekend day and a weekday, and it'll be perfectly fine. My tests are pretty straightforward. The lecture tests, let's see. The lecture tests are all multiple choice, nothing fancy. Typically ABC, sometimes ABCD, limited answer choices. In other words, almost always multiple choice. Sometimes true, false. Sometimes some matching. Just nothing that fancy. And on my lecture tests, you can expect 50 questions. You know, in that neighborhood of 50 questions. Nothing terribly fancy. Yeah. And those lecture tests, you will find, let me get my stuff up here. You will find that there is 1, 2, 3 lecture exams, with your final exam being due on the 7th of December. And we'll talk more about that as time progresses. All right, so 3 lecture exams, and then there will be 2 lab practicals. One on September the 28th, and one on November the 9th, okay? The lab exams are different. They're all fill in the blank based off of images, and you should have 0 problems doing well on any of this. When I say fill in the blank, people stress, but I'm here to tell you that I set this up to allow you to do well. Let me prove this to you. All right, dashboard, our class, modules, YouTube lecture videos, right there. Okay, I just opened it up here. And then I'm going to scroll down to lecture test 1 materials. All right, here we go. On this, you can go over here to the YouTube lecture videos, which I just showed you where those are found. They're up top here. And on these YouTube lecture videos, you can click on the first one. And this is lecture 1, A View of Life. Okay, this is your first lecture. Down here in the modules, you can click on lecture 1, A View of Life PowerPoint. And what you're going to find is, hopefully, eventually, this is going to pop up and there's the PowerPoint. So here's the PowerPoint you're going to use. You can click up here and you can download that PowerPoint. And my advice, listen, if I wanted to really pass this class easy and not have to really stress out at all at the end of the semester about what my grade's going to be, here's how I do it. I would get my textbook and I would read chapter 1, A View of Life. Okay, read that chapter. Read the first chapter. Basic Introductory to Biology. Read it. Okay, once you have read the chapter, then you can go through, print out my PowerPoint, have it sitting right in front of you, and then watch this video where I go through and I discuss the basic contents
72 million years ago,
of the PowerPoint. I'm going to describe everything to you in grandiose detail. So you'll be able to take notes on your PowerPoint based off of the things I have to say. Then, when you have read the chapter and you have listened to my video on it and taken notes on the PowerPoint, then you'll be able to go into quizzes, where's that? Quizzes here, or we're going to try and do this through assignments actually, because I can arrange the assignments in a way that'll make it easier to see. You can go through quizzes or assignments. It's actually the same basic link, and there will be a quiz on chapter 1. All right, you'll have a quiz on chapter 1. So you can read in the textbook, you can then watch my video, watch the PowerPoint, and then you can take the quiz on the subject in a week period and know if you have that information down or not. And then just to make darn sure you know what you're doing, if I go back over to our modules, and here's lecture 1 yet again. Okay, here's lecture 1. Down at the bottom, Biology 103, Study Guide, Test 1. You can pull that study guide up, and my advice would be to print this thing out and have it sitting beside me whenever you're reading, whenever you're listening to the videos, what have you, because I'm asking you questions here that are very pertinent to what's going to be on your exam. So you've got quizzes, you've got your lecture material from the YouTube video links, you have your textbook, you have this study guide. Between those things, you should have no problems at all knowing what's coming on your tests. Okay, failing these exams, I make it very hard if you're doing the work. All right, very hard if you're actually doing the work. And it's going to be the same story with lab. And what you'll oftentimes find is with the lab at the end, I'll do kind of a recap. And in that recap, I will hit the high points that I think are most important for your exam. Again, if you go over here to the modules and you scroll down to lab midterm, you'll find I've already put up a study guide for that test. So it's all there for you. And then most of the other material you're going to need for lab, that's all going to be done through, what do you call it, your lab manual itself. All right. I think that's positive steps. Boy, I am so surprised that we're missing lots and lots of stuff off of this syllabus. That's very surprising to me. It was there last night and now it's gone. Clearly the new syllabus system, we're not quite there yet. Okay, I did, however, print out or write down a few comments, and I just want to make sure that we have gotten everything across that we need to get across in this video. You need to have Google Chrome with a webcam and have the capacity to run honor lock. I'll be putting a quiz up on that so that you can make sure that your system is capable. The book, it's a good idea to buy the book, especially being that we're online. It's a good idea to buy it through the link that I will provide in the next few days. That way you can get it cheaper and have access to all the online stuff. Very handy. You have to have the lab manual, absolutely required. Makeup policy, don't miss my tests. Okay, don't miss them. You could better have an ironclad reason why you miss an exam. Don't come at me and say, oh, I've had COVID 4 times this month. No, that's not the way that works. Don't even try. Final exams, we talked about when those were. I said it's going to close on the 7th of December. Zoom, okay, that is something we have not talked about. I will do 6 Zoom sessions in a week. The way I tend to do these is I will open on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'll have a Zoom meeting at 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 7 o'clock, I think. I'll put it in the announcements. So what you can do is if you come back to our Canvas shell and you go to announcements, I will have the announcements up so you can see them. So here's like the welcome announcement, and I'll be putting up another announcement pretty soon about when our first Zoom sessions are, and you can just click on the link in Zoom here in Canvas, and it'll bring you straight to the program and take you to me, and we can talk in person 3 times, twice a week. So at, again, 9, 1, and 7 is when I typically do these on Mondays, or I'm sorry, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this is not required. The Zoom sessions are not required, but it's a good idea. So if you've got questions, I got answers, okay? Especially before exams. If you're sitting there and you're like, man, this photosynthesis thing, I wish he'd talk through it with me one time. Come on to Zoom, okay? Come on to Zoom. And I can't tell you how many times I've had people that are failing the class. I'm like, hey, come on Zoom and I'll help you, and they don't show up. So I'm telling you now, being there and working with me is way better, way better. All right, Zoom, cheating. Don't cheat on my exams or you get a 0 on your test. I don't know how much more clear I can be. We're even going to make some changes to the way that we do things, just so I can make darn sure that there's no chance anything weird can be going on. And if you try to do something weird, it's going to hurt you real bad. You get a 0 on one of my tests, it's going to be hard not to fail the class overall. Quizzes. So the quizzes, you'll have a quiz per lab and a lecture. So for instance, you should already have access to, for instance, lecture 1 YouTube video link and everything else. You can go and watch that, and then at the end of the week I'm going to put a quiz up. It'll be up for 7 days. You can take that quiz on that chapter. Make sure you have a good grasp of what's important. All right, quizzes are 10 questions. They're open notes, open book, open what have you. So you should have 0 problems at all making hundreds on all those quizzes. And the quizzes will add up to almost 2 test grades at the end of this. Well, no, they do add up to 2 test grades. So the quizzes will add up to 2 test grades at the end of the year. So you can screw around and make 75s on all the tests and then make perfect scores on all the quizzes and then have it be in the class. You're welcome. This is a gift. So, man, I look online and people get like 4 out of 10 on the quiz, and I realize that they took 7 minutes to take it. Sit down, take your time, do the quiz right. Make sure that you get every single point on the quizzes. They're open notes, open book, open everything. So take your sweet time. There's no reason not to get full credit on every single one of them. You know, read, learn, research, and at the end of the semester, it's going to boost your grade by a huge margin. All right, so you treat the quizzes like they're incredibly important, because they are. Schedule, again, we can go over here to our Canvas, and I can go to modules, and I can click on calendar, and boom, there it is. There's the calendar for the class, everything that's going to be covered. It's all right there. So use that. You need to use that. There should never be a time where you're asking me what a test is going to be on, or, you know, when you should get certain things done, because it's all on the calendar. It's all right there in front of me, and you, for that matter. Okay, schedule. Final is comprehensive. So Biology 1 here at Shelton, it's required by the state that we have a comprehensive final examination in Biology 1. What that means is that I'm going to give you a regular test that's just like every other test that you've taken. It's going to be on, so what we'll do here is, like for instance, the first test is chapters 1 to 4. You take a test on it. Then the next chapter is 5 through 8. Then you take a test on chapters 5 through 8. And then you have a few variable chapters. And this final exam is just on these chapters. But I drop in like 10 or so random questions or things that you should just know from biology. And that makes it theoretically comprehensive. So that's good enough for me. So you just study it like it's a regular test. No big deal. And yeah. Okay, last parting comment. The way the class is set up, frankly, is that all of this material is pretty much everything you got to know in the entire class. We're going to give a background for every subject. Like here we've got metabolism and photosynthesis and respiration, all of that. It's all here. Okay, the basics of it are all here. So this goes through the entire class quickly and gives you the basic concepts, and then test 2 and test 3 simply expand on those concepts. So yeah, that's how this is going to be done, and I hope that you enjoy it. Man, I wish the syllabus was up in the way it's supposed to be up. That's a real shame. I'm going to harp on that later. So if I were you, I would go to my modules, and I would go to YouTube lecture videos because that's where we're at right now. All right, you're supposed to be doing this week chapter 1. I would go to here and click on that chapter 1 lecture on YouTube, and you can watch it while you use the PowerPoint for that, which is here, and take notes on it. So I would print that PowerPoint out if it was me, and I would take notes on the PowerPoint while I watched this video, and I would have my study guide sitting right beside me the whole time so I can make sure that I'm getting everything I'm supposed to get. And that's in a nutshell how the class is going to be run. So be expecting a Zoom meeting every Tuesday and Thursday, and if you have any questions, just drop in there and ask them and I'll help. All right, guys, it's going to be a good semester. I'm really excited. I've got all Biology 1 this semester, which is the first time that's ever happened. So I'm going to be all fully concentrated on you guys, making sure you get what you need. So just let me know if you got any kind of issues, and we can work through them. All right, thanks so much. You guys have a great day.